Why does The Walking Dead use 3 versions of every weapon? Who called the SWAT team on poor Michael Rooker? And what's up with the happy death days?
No.
So, there are quite a few weapons on the show, some naturally being better than others. But did you know that there are 3 versions of every weapon used? Turns out it's not just for everyone's safety, but also practicality. The first version is the actual real-life weapon with the safety on that's used for the close-up shots and scenes. Then there's a plastic variant that looks like the real thing, but is much lighter. It's especially useful if the actors are running around and need to lug the weapon around with them. And finally, there's a rubber version, which is used for scenes where the actors smash each other with the weapons. Good thing it's nice and soft here, because you wouldn't want to see anyone getting pistol whipped for real. Yes, not even the governor. And speaking of weapons, did you know that one scene actually created a lot of controversy in the real world? And it was completely unnecessary outrage too. In the episode titled Guts, Merle Dixon was stationed on top of a department store's rooftop as a sniper. Well, the poor people in Atlanta had no idea what was going on and panicked seeing a man with a gun aimed at the streets. So what did they do? They called the local SWAT team on Michael Rooker, who was all alone on the roof. Fortunately, nothing terrible happened as the production team and the law enforcement officers ironed things out in no time. Though, imagine being in Michael's shoes and seeing a full-blown SWAT team coming for you when you're only trying to do your job.
I don't think so, bro.
Some things are definitely much scarier than hungry zombies, that's for sure. Original showrunner Frank Darabont's departure from the series was a messy affair that's still tangled up in all sorts of lawsuits. But it also had some unintended consequences among the cast and crew, especially Jeffrey DeMunn, who played Dale. Jeffrey had collaborated with Frank before and felt a sense of loyalty to the filmmaker. So when he found out that his pal was given the boot, he wanted to be written off the show as well. Jeffrey confirmed this fact to Cleveland.com, saying, "I was furious about how Frank was pushed out of the show. I spent a week not being able to take a full breath. And then I realized, oh, I can quit. So I called them and said, it's a zombie show. Kill me. I don't want to do this anymore." Yikes! No wonder Dale died a lot sooner on the show than he did in the comics. Goes to show how what happens behind the scenes can often have a huge influence on the events on screen, right? But Frank's departure isn't the only eyebrow-raising one. Because 2 years after his unceremonious exit, AMC fired his replacement, Glen Mazzara. The show really does seem to recycle showrunners, doesn't it? Reportedly, the reason for this forced separation was because Glen and Robert Kirkman, the original creator of The Walking Dead, weren't seeing eye to eye on the show. They clashed behind the scenes many times, but it's probably best described as creative differences in the industry. So once again, AMC opened the door and ushered the showrunner out of it quickly. Sheesh, heartless. Though, if other producers and filmmakers are to be believed, AMC is notorious for wanting full control of their shows. So if you come in with a creative vision that differs from the people signing the checks, well, bye-bye then.
Whoa, relax.
Makes you want to scream your lungs out, right? And turns out that's something Lauren Cohan knows about all too well. There was a lot of screaming on The Walking Dead, but there was one moment that particularly took its toll on the actors. In the scene, Maggie and Glenn had a scream-off to distract the zombies, but while doing several takes on the day, Lauren actually blew out her voice in the process. But in this day and age, that isn't a problem, because her screams were added in after as an effect. Mind blown.
This is too good.
But hey, take nothing away from the moment, because the sound engineers did a fantastic job in making us believe it was actually Lauren screaming. And speaking of other fan-favorite characters, Daryl Dixon is pretty much in everyone's top 3 heroes from The Walking Dead. And most viewers already know that he's an entirely original character, created for the series and not from the comics. But did you know that Norman Reedus almost missed out on the show altogether? In 2010, he got his hands on the script, but all the parts were already cast. Norman refused to accept defeat though, saying, "Just get me in the room. I'll go in and do a guest spot." So Norman's agents pulled some strings and got him to read the part of Merle, though he knew that the role already belonged to Michael Rooker. The producers liked what they saw so much that they decided to write the part of Daryl just for him. Who says that persistence doesn't pay off at the end of the day? While we're on the topic of castings, let's discuss Laurie Holden, who played another popular character, Andrea. It's impossible to imagine anyone else in the part, but did you know that Frank Darabont had another role in mind for her? Chatting to The Hollywood Reporter, Laurie said, "I got a call very early in the process from Frank Darabont. He asked me to put myself on tape for the role of Laurie. I donned a dark wig, put myself on tape for the network, and then got offered the part of Andrea." Wow. That's an interesting casting for sure. Funny enough, in the comics, Andrea actually went on to have a relationship with Rick Grimes, but that never happened on the show. Well, Laurie could have certainly been with Rick, just under another guise here.
Boyfriend?
While all these actors had interesting casting processes, there was one actor who didn't need to audition at all. In fact, the part came calling to them. Talk about living the good life. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Melissa McBride said, "I didn't have an audition for The Walking Dead. I believe my audition was my work in Frank Darabont's The Mist." Frank was reportedly so impressed by Melissa's performance in the film that when the part of Carol came up, he had only her in mind. He made the call, and Melissa jumped at the opportunity. However, she believed her time on the show would be limited because when she first saw her character's fate in the comics, she was certain that she wouldn't survive past the first season. Well, look at you now, Melissa! Happy Death Day to you. Happy Death Day to you. Happy Death Day, dear. Wait, what? So, you know how you can't get too attached to the cast of The Walking Dead, right? Well, the actors actually celebrate their departures from the show in the most awesome, though creepy way.
Just look at the flowers.
They have what's called a Death Day celebration. It's kind of like a birthday, but much darker in theme, where they have a party and say their final goodbyes to the cast and crew. To make sure that no story leaks take place, however, they disguise these Death Days under the premise of it being someone's birthday. They even get cakes and balloons to fool anyone who might be keeping a close eye on the production. So the next time you see a pic of someone celebrating a birthday on the set, grab the tissues and start preparing for the next death on the show. In the mood for more undead dudes? Then check out our video about all the makeup secrets from The Walking Dead. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome!